Today's video, we'll be looking at the Compaq Contura Aero 4/33C sub-notebook computer.
We review old technology from games to old PCs, and don't forget the dolls. Yeah, ancient electronics, we cover it all.
So laptops aren't usually my thing, and I don't really cover those kind of computers too much here on the channel, but this was actually given to me just yesterday, and I thought it was pretty cool, so I thought I'd make a sort of maybe quick video on this. Now, sometimes before I do a review, I will go on YouTube and online, and I'll check just to see what other reviews are out there. And interestingly, LGR did a review on this specific sub-notebook laptop like 11 years ago in 2010. Now on my channel, I don't know if it's as much as complaining, but I do point out many times the lack of polish and video quality on my channel. I use a relatively cheap camera. I don't have a lot of money to throw at high-end video equipment like cameras and stuff, so I'm a little harsh of the video quality of my videos. But man, going back and watching a video from like 2010, it's rough. I mean, it says 480p, but it's not 480p. 480p can look pretty good, but those 11-year-old YouTube videos, they're pretty rough. And I don't mean in like effort put into them or how they're done. Although across the board there seems to be a lot more polish in current years, but man, just video quality of YouTubers 11 years ago is night and day. So maybe I shouldn't be so harsh on my video equipment. But anyway, let's talk about this little sub-notebook, I don't know what you want, laptop or just a computer. So yeah, this is a little guy. This came out probably early mid-90s, and it's kind of meant as a, you know, it's not a full laptop, but it's kind of like a power-efficient machine. And this is a 486. So let me zoom out, and then we'll open it up. We'll take a little bit more of a look about it. Now, the hinge on this thing is a little weak. Now, I read that's pretty normal. They used, I forget, they used some kind of weaker metal component for the hinges, so it does tend to get a little bit weak. But it's not collapsing, so I don't think it's broke or anything. So, yeah, Compaq Contura Aero 4/33C. So the CPU in this guy is a 486. It is a 33 megahertz 46SX, so no math coprocessor. This was really meant to just kind of be power efficient. It's not like a high power gaming laptop or sub-notebook or whatever you want to call it. Although mine has an interesting quirk going on where it is running at, I think, 17 megahertz. Not sure what's going on. At first I thought maybe there was a turbo button somewhere, and it was like it was set on the turbo or deturbo mode. I can't find any evidence that this machine has any kind of turbo button or turbo mode. So I don't know why my CPU is running at 17 megahertz. Alright, so first off, so I don't really have a whole lot to compare it with, but this keyboard feels very mushy. It does seem to be a more or less full keyboard. We even have the little arrows here. I mean, it's not bad. Our power button is here. Here's the mouse. It's a little roller ball, and I believe on the side right here, first I thought maybe these were volume buttons, but I think these are the right and left mouse buttons. So it's a little, oh, that's not too bad. And then there is the power button right here. Let's see, what do we got? Nothing there, nothing on the front. And on the side we have that kind of slot that I never, PC, MCI, or whatever the abbreviation for it is, that's what this is. On the back we have a serial port. Here is the power to hook up your power supply. Parallel port. And then this horrible proprietary port right here. I believe this is used to connect it to like there's a little connector that like has a VGA connector on it and PS2 ports. So this is basically something to connect to like expansion units. I think you also use this to connect to a like a base unit that this will connect to. But of course it is proprietary, so unless you have those little official connectors, it's pretty much completely useless. Right here is the battery, and I do have the battery in there. Actually, I don't even know if it's good. There is the battery. Alright. I'm pretty sure it's not good anymore, but actually, let's try it. Because this was plugged in for a while. So it should have charged. No, battery's dead, of course. I should probably just remove it, which I may do after this video. Now, you may have noticed something else about this machine. There is no CD drive, there is no floppy drive, there is nothing, which is one of the big weaknesses of this machine. There's just no way to get data on it. There's not even like a modem port, there's nothing. There's a serial port and a printer port. So I guess if you have like backpack things, you could hook them up to it. So there is that. But I do have this guy right here, which is the official 1.44 megabyte floppy drive connector. Now, let's see. Okay, there's a little helpful arrow. Push in and pull up. And this is one of those, PCMCI, whatever the abbreviation is. Connectors or adapters, and it just goes in like this, and there you go. So that's not too bad. And I do also have, thank goodness, the power adapter. So I'm not going to open it up, but let's take a look at what we can see. So if we flip this thing around on its back, we see this right here, this little, I don't know what I want to call that little entry thing there to get inside of it. You're going to need something, preferably like a smaller, what are these called? I don't know, screwdriver. The flathead screwdriver. Or I guess if you have like good nails or something, you just kind of want to pry it open. Okay, that wasn't very delicate. That wasn't good. You should be more careful if you're doing that. But that gets you to the inside. So this comes standard with, I believe, 4 megabytes of RAM. But mine has been expanded to, I believe, the maximum 8 megabytes. Not sure where the hard drive is installed or how you would get to it. You'd probably have to completely take it apart, but that is your RAM right there. And if you look, you can barely see it. I think that's the CPU right there. It looks like a soldered on CPU. Yeah, I can see Intel. Whoops. Yeah, I can see, you can barely see Intel. So I believe that is the 33 megahertz 46SX. So I'm going to put this back on, and then I'll plug it into the power supply and we'll fire it up. So if you'd like a better idea of the size of this laptop, here is a standard 1.44 megabyte floppy drive. So this is incredibly small. Especially you're considering like a mid-early 90s laptop, sub-notebook, whatever you want to call it. That's pretty small. I mean, it's about the size of a big box PC game. So, and it's actually a little, maybe even slightly smaller. So yeah, it's about the size of a big box PC game, which is not very big. Hold on, it fell off. From those jumpers to a Intel above board for memory. Don't want to lose that. Alright, so let's power this guy up. So I do have it plugged into the external power supply. And here's that. I think I'm going to turn off this light here. And then let's take a look. Now the screen on this thing is not the best. Even back in the day, it is not the best screen. A lot of ghosting, but now I believe it's counting up the yep, you can. I can barely see it. I don't know if you can see it. I'm sure there's some kind of error that got triggered, probably from a dead battery, but it is displaying, but you just can't see it. Like, I can barely see it up here. There must be some kind of contrast or brightness controls. Okay, that's a little better. It also depends on like what angle you look at the screen. Yeah, I can see it a little bit better now. There we go. It's a little better. It's not great. Let me even turn off these lights here. Yeah, that's even better with the no lights, but it's difficult. So we got a lot of text there. Let's see, what do we got? System soft selects, blah blah. Alright, so what do we have here? System soft plug and play. PCMCIA. I should just CIA, I remember that. IDE disk driver version, blah blah blah. Card ID version, blah blah blah. And then error. Okay, error. A backpack CD-ROM drive was not found. Okay, so apparently there's drivers for a backpack CD-ROM drive, probably that would have connected to the parallel port. And obviously I don't have it. I think it says escape to continue. We just want to continue. And it's doing more things. Okay, now ScanDisk is running. Alright, I'll get back to you when we actually get into the OS. Alright, that didn't take long. So, looks like it's DOS. I know some of these people have put Windows 95 on them. I feel that's a little bit too much for this machine, but we got DOS version 6.22, which is just fine. I believe Windows is also on here. And I also would like to point out, there is no sound card in this thing, so there's not like a built-in sound blaster or media vision or anything. It's just PC speaker, and I believe it's a little piezo speaker in there too, so nothing fancy. This was not made as a gaming laptop or anything like that. Yeah, there we go. So we do have Windows 3.1, and that actually, right there, it actually looks decent. It's full color VGA, so yeah, there's your sound there. So not too bad, although, yeah, like in LGR's video, there is a lot of ghosting. It is not the quickest refresh screen. Yeah, early 90s LCD technology, a lot of ghosting, and that's probably the Achilles heel of this machine, really. Okay, so let me get out of here, and then, yep, that's what those buttons are. Exit Windows, and then I'll run some benchmarks. Alright, so we're running Check It on here, version, I don't know what version, but we're running Check It 3.0. Alright, so first things first. Okay, no mouse support in DOS, just drivers that aren't set up, but that's okay. So system configuration, let's take a look here. Alright, so there we go, a 486, a T machine, doesn't give us a speed though, math coprocessor not present, base memory, extended memory, so we do have the 8 megabytes installed. I haven't run MemMaker or anything. And there's our benchmark results, 9,207 dry stones, but if we look at the speed, 16.64 megahertz, so roughly 17 megahertz. I don't know why this thing is running at 17 megahertz. It should be 33, so that's about a little more than half of the speed of the CPU. I have a feeling there's some kind of turbo, like key combo somewhere, but why is it defaulting? Like, does it default to 17 megahertz? And you have to do some kind of keyboard combination to get it to 33 megahertz? is this some weird version of this laptop with a 7... They didn't even make a 16 or 17 megahertz 486 as far as I know. If anyone knows, please let me know so I can get the full speed of the CPU. I don't know what's going on here. And it's not just check it. I've run a couple benchmarking utilities, and they all report the same thing as far as CPU speed goes. So I don't know. I don't even know what video is in this thing. I don't think it will tell us. But we can benchmark it. So it got 8,674 characters a second. Don't know what is that? Maximum performance level breached. Does that, okay, well, does that mean it's pretty good? Wait, what? Is that 2 gigabytes? I mean, did someone really put a 2 gigabyte hard drive in this thing? I mean, I believe it, but as I said, I am horrific with the numbers and conversions, but I think that's 2 gigabytes. I think. Wow, that's a bit overkill. Alright, so we're going to try Thexter on this guy, which should look and sound pretty horrific. The PC speaker for Thexter is pretty bad, let alone hear it constantly looped on a piezo speaker. And with the ghosting with the screen, yeah, scrolling should be horrible. Let's take a look at Thexter. Well, yeah, it should run. CPU shouldn't be an issue, CPU speed with this game. Do you have a joystick? No. Let's see. There we go. That looks weird already. Huh. Okay, that looks like okay. I'm not 100% sure what kind of video chip is in there. All right, it should like auto run here. Okay, I should have left it, but yeah, when there's sound effects, it can't do sound because it's just PC speaker. It can't do music and sound effects at the same time. I think that's even the case on the Tandy, but I'm not sure with Tandy sound. Oh yeah, that's some ghosting. Yeah, that's bad. It doesn't bother me a ton, but yeah, I can definitely. Is it 2 or 1? Oh, it's 1, I think. It looked like there are 2 of them. The ghosting is quite bad. I think usually people just go the other way. So yeah, I don't even know. You can transform into like a jet. I don't even know how to do that. T for transform? No, I don't know. But yeah, you can see right there the problem with games. But I mean, it looks not like this screen is old. It's kind of washed out, but being old and washed out aside, the colors are actually like nice. It really looks better than I would suspect. I mean, I can read everything, I can see everything, but the ghosting is pretty bad. So I guess it wouldn't be so bad if you were playing something that was just kind of stationary or very slow, like maybe like a turn-based strategy game or something like that. I think you'd be fine. But scrolling stuff, not so much. I think it has some kind of sleep mode that I don't understand either, because I've held down the power button for quite some time. And of course, you don't hear anything, it's turned off. But that is blinking, and if I hit it again, it comes back to Thexter. Because I just pulled the disc, and so it's some kind of sleep mode. Let me pull the power supply and see if the battery. Nope, that battery's dead. Okay. So I thought I'd try some problematic CGA games, the kind that really need a CGA card. And yeah, this is Digger, and I go to run it, and there's weirdness happening. I can hear it. But yeah, all kind of weirdness going on. So sometimes I'll run these just to see, you know, how compatible with CGA the VGA chipset is. And now I can't get out of here without resetting it. Ugh. And that, guys, is the Compaq Contura Aero 4/33C. I couldn't recommend it as a something to game on, like retro gaming. I mean, it is small. It's nice if you had maybe the floppy adapter and the power supply or working battery. Maybe you could like take it to work and on a break. It's small enough to pull out and, you know, do a little bit of retro gaming if that's your thing on breaks at work or downtime. But it's small. That's its thing. But I think there's better options for that kind of thing. It's just, you know, this doesn't bother me much. This isn't much to take along with you or something like that. The CPU speed's fine, especially if this was working at what it should be, the 33 megahertz. Again, I have no idea why mine's running at 17 megahertz. Let me know if anyone knows. But the ghosting on the screen's pretty bad. I mean, when I was playing Dexter, I thought it was 2 enemies when it was 1, I think. But regardless, it was pretty bad. That could be probably annoying depending on the game. Other games, maybe not so much. If you're playing something like even a point-and-click adventure game, it might not be too bad. But that screen is pretty bad. So it's cool because it's really small and it's pretty cool. But I wouldn't recommend it for like gaming purposes if that's your thing. But it is pretty neat. So if you have any experiences with this machine and you would like to talk to us about it, leave a comment in the comment section. I always love to hear stories from you guys on your experiences with these old machines, or if you have any information about this particular machine to enlighten us with, please let us know in the comments. If you like this kind of content, also please subscribe, ring the bell thing, all that good stuff. And thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.